Hey guys, hope everything's doing great. So it's been a long time since I did a video. It's been super busy with just different projects, writing, and all this kind of stuff, project management, all that crazy shenanigans. But I've been wanting to do this video for a while now. I'm just now getting the chance to where I think I can do it. Probably should be doing other stuff, but I just wanted to do this video real quick. So last video was the micro and macro approaches to world building. Now, those are very, what I want to say, mathematically minded individuals or individuals that really like to prefer like the outline type of format that I like versus like a literary type of approach or more story-based approach. And so what you get is there's 5 other types that I like to think that are all about the same type or subtypes. That's the sociological approach, the character-based approach, the situation-based approach, the historical approach, and the literary approach, right? So all these different approaches are different things that cover all kinds of different aspects, right? But first, we're going to go into the sociological approach, and it's an interesting idea for society or culture. Involves trades, strong culture group, and popular method for world building. It's definitely on the top. So generally, that just is that you're going to develop your world around a central culture. Rome would be a good example of this, to where they were such a dominant culture that they influenced everyone around them and forced, cultures to adapt to their lifestyle and their choice. America is a way a lot of times as well, where when you come to America, most people think that most Americans think that you should convert to the American belief system or that general concept, right? Now, whether right or wrong, we're just talking about world building. So that's what the sociological approach is, right? So it takes it a different aspect from saying mapping out and drawing all your stuff to going into more of a writing style format, right? So you're going to be writing this culture, this belief system, and you're really going to pinpoint that culture because that's what your campaign is going to be mostly about, right? So in that aspect, you'll be pretty happy about that. So the character-based approach is actually one of my more favorite of the types of the more literary type story building or world building aspects. And so typically you have either NPCs or your characters, right? Sometimes it's NPCs, or most probably DMs are going to build it off their NPCs and not their characters. I prefer to go the other way. I prefer to have my characters influence most of my world building and story. So as in instance, I have one character named Dyla. She is a silver dragonborn female, and she basically is, long story short, she's going to individually become the queen of a kingdom in essence. Whether that all story building apart and how the roles come out, right? But so you want to look at your prime movers of your campaign and what kind of societies and backgrounds or situations they might have made for them the way they are. In most cases, this will suggest either a society for a particular setting as a starting point. From there, you can build the kingdom or continent surrounding the home for the character of interest, right? So basically, you're going to take this one character, this family, or this group that this person involves in, and you're building your world from there. So it's still a micro approach, right? So you're still approaching from that micro sense, but you're going to start from real small and fan out. And in some ways, the oh goodness, my brain skipped. The sociological aspect is the same way. Okay. But yeah, so you're basically just going that macro approach with a literary approach, right? So you're going from this real small aspect and expanding out. And then we have the situation-based approach. So for lack of a better term, the situation-based approach covers the wide range of special hooks and developments that could drive the creation of a campaign setting. So this is literally, it could be a war, it could be a famine, it could be diseases, it could be that the undead are rampant, right? Think with Curse of Strahd and movies like that, where undead, drives, and then the whole society is really, under this influence of this vampire lord and everything that he brings to the table, and it affects the entire society, right? And that's where that situation-based approach is going to come in at. It's really fascinating to me that this is also what I actually kind of like all these. It's kind of hard to say, but I like every single one of them, right? So the first step you're going to do is you're going to basically describe the situation, right? You're going to take it down and pinpoint it, right? And so once you get there, you're going to have that problem or that hook, and you're going to develop it. You're going to fully outline that thing to a point of just ridiculousness, because you're going to have to hit everything, because you're starting from a not as micro as, say, a character, but you're still in a small globe or a pin. And so you need to develop all of that kind of stuff, so that way, the players in your world are, able to experience it, because they're going to go left, right, up, down, and crossways, and they always do. And then the fourth one is the historical approach, right? So this is related to a situation-based approach, but more specific in scope, right? So you're basically going to be building off a great event or something that happened in the history of your world or this kingdom or this area that you're in, and you're going to build off of that, right? So it could be a war. You could think about, let's see. Oh, goodness, I'm trying to think here, brain. There's all kinds of wars out there, goodness. All kinds of wars. Well, I mean, sadly so, but so like the American Indians or the Native American people, how they were basically, stripped of their homes and things of that nature, and really, really savagely, taken by the American or the new settlers of America that were coming in from all over the world. But this people, that's a historical based approach, because you could say that you're building this world and you want to say either from the left or right. Maybe you're going to have these two conflicting things where, now you have the more American Indian style. You can even go with orcs, because like the orcs in my world, I've developed them heavily on the American, Native American people. And I really love that concept, instead of just making them just, muscular, brutes. I really don't think, biologically things are designed that way. It's a mass thing. Literally, there's a certain breaking point of mass to bone ratio. So I just really cannot stand I like the idea and concept of it, but I prefer like natural built humanoids in my world. Not like natural in the sense they gotta all be like, humans, but just structure wise. Very rarely do you see these creatures in nature that are just, beastly. Unless they've been, number one, bred that way, or they have a significant reason why they are that way. But the historical based approach, going back to that, you could have this conflict to where like these people are getting pushed out of their homes, and these people are trying to encroach, and you can that's a very super awesome aspect to really play on, and really you really only have to develop two different kingdoms, and a ton of NPCs and stuff and prime characters. But once you get there, you're pretty much done with everything you need to do on that aspect. And then the last one, guys, is the literary-based approach, right? So this one's actually pretty simple. This is probably the most common one, I think. You're going to find, one of those authors that you really like. I can think of Brian Jakes, J.K. Rowling, Brandon Sanderson. I go on for days. But, all these guys, think about what I consider like some of the father of modern fantasy, Tolkien. Where would we be if he never developed his world? If he never went into World War I and had his and developed the world based on how he felt that war changed him and things of that nature. So basically, you're going to develop your world kind of off that, or based on that approach. And actually, it's a really simple way of doing it. It's probably the fastest way, because you don't have to do a ton of homework. You have already all these assets there for you. You don't have to do a ton of creating, which is super handy. But yeah, so that's all I got, guys. I'm going to post this up today. I'm not going to do any of the editing on this guy. I got a project coming up pretty soon, building the deities, rebuilding the deities, I should say. Wanted to reskin those guys and really make them awesome. But as that's coming up, and I'm going to really try to do more YouTube videos. I just don't know if I'm going to ever actually do it, because it's just, I get busy, and when I get into the grind, that's just the way it is, heck, get into it. But yeah, so that's all I got for now, guys. If you got any questions, leave it in the comments. Drop some links and all that stuff, and just keep on rolling, guys. Take care. Be safe.